Coming up next, I'll share some side hustles with you that are exploding and how Halloween is an everyday holiday for so many. We'll also take your chat questions and your calls, and it starts right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Studios, from our Ramsey Solutions headquarters, and we're in Nashville. Oh, it's such a good city. Come see us soon. And this conversation that you're joining, it's all about who you were created to be, what you were created to do, where you can do that, how to get there. That's the conversation. It is about your purpose. And your purpose is about others. We're going to look at your purpose in your work, your contribution, your sweet spot, which is really that area. And it's a large area where multiple jobs and career paths can fit in it. It's truly a zone. It is where your talent, passion, and mission come together. You use what you do best, talent, to do work you love, passion, to produce results that matter to you, mission. So we're all driving towards that missional work, significance that you feel because you realize you've made a contribution that matters to others and to you at the same time. That's the dream job. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. 844-747-2577. All right, let's get to this. Business Insider with a new article on 16 recession-proof side hustles that are exploding in popularity because you can do them from home. Obviously, with the pandemic, more people are turning to freelance work or side jobs just to make ends meet. Some of you are doing this or considering doing this just to make extra money to either get out of debt or to start making progress towards really the dream. So you want to start on the side. Let's see if we can prove this, get better at it so you can do it full time. And a lot of people are becoming interested in starting their own businesses so they don't feel like they're at the mercy of a company to lay them off or furlough them. And so here is a list of some side hustles that, according to the data from multiple websites that are tracking things like this, people are looking into, kicking the tires, starting side hustles in these specific areas. Shopify template creators. This is fascinating. This is an e-commerce platform, and it's been on the rise since the start of the pandemic. And anybody looking to build an e-commerce platform on the site needs to build their own pages. And so they have a lot of, they need help. And so those with coding and developer skills are in demand. And so they're launching these template side businesses. Software programmers with Objective-C skills. An Objective-C skill is the primary programming language used for writing software and apps. So got a lot of people want to develop a software program, an app, and so anybody can do this big time. I mean, you want to start contracting yourself out there, it's there. YouTube creators. Obviously, YouTube is a fertile playing ground for a lot of people because if you can get the eyeballs, eventually you can start to make money because YouTube does all the advertising essentially for you. 2D animators, the rising need for 2D animation mirrors. The rising need for 2D animation mirrors the popularity of other graphic design work. This field has seen a spike as people spend more time online. 2D animation doesn't require complex computer programming, and it adds a stronger visual component to presentations. So a lot of opportunity there. Computer security engineers, foreign exchange trading engineers, game developers. Well, I mean, that's not pandemic related. I just think gaming in general over the long haul is such a great way to make a living. Game designers, legal researchers. Legal research involves identifying information such as primary sources and background information needed to make legal decisions. Statistical analysts, again, everything's moving in the direction of statistics. Animators with Adobe Flash skills. Mechanical, electrical, and civil engineers, always going to be a hot area. These are high-end problem solvers, project managers with all the work, and now the collaborative nature of the way that technology kind of forms our work world. with all the pieces because of technology, you can communicate easier. So you've got multiple people involved. But at the end of the day, you need that hub in the spoke of the wheel. Computer engineers with proficiency in XML, software developers with API expertise, and then data set analysts for contact tracing and day trading. So I rushed through that list. You can get that Business Insider, but those are great examples of how you can launch a side hustle from home, 5-10 hours a week, get your toes dipped into the water, and just see. And there's low risk there. None of those options on the list require any capital outlay. You don't have to go get in debt for that. You don't have to make a huge capital investment to get started there. And that's why I love that list. So really good stuff. Thank you, Joe and Madison, for bringing that to my attention. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Let's get it started. To the phones we go. St. Petersburg, Florida. Nick is on the line there. Nick, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hello, how you doing?
Nick, I'm living the dream, man. What's happening with you?
Oh, hey, yeah, I've been going through your career clarity guide, and it's amazing.
Well, thank you.
I've been looking for that kind of tool for a long time. But so my question is, if I want to start a business, do I need to have experience in that business's industry? Because I've been generating ideas for business ideas, but I'm running into the issue of I don't have experience in that particular industry. So is that a concern?
Yeah, I think you need to pay attention to what could go wrong if you have zero experience. But I would say this too. That's not a silver bullet, one size fits all answer, because it is presumable that if you have the general idea what you want to do and you hire the right people, depending on what kind of capital you've got to be able to start, and you've got really smart people that are going to run the day-to-day, or you've done your homework and people who have done what you're going to do basically sign off on your business plan, and they've given you a pretty good idea what the pitfalls could be, and you've got a conservative strategy. Yeah, I don't think you have to have experience, but it's probably not a bad idea. But again, it all comes down to how important experience is versus what I just described, which is you've got a really good plan that's been vetted by people who do have the experience, and you got the right people helping you. So you can be a total newbie and win, but I would make sure that you've got a good plan and you've got all the right information. So do you have that? Or are you just going, Ken, I got an idea for a business. I know nothing. I don't know anybody. I'm just trying to decide if it's a good idea. In that case, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Wait a little bit.
I'm thinking through my ideas right now.
Give me an example of one of your business ideas that you have zero experience in that industry.
Insurance.
Okay, and so you want to just become a broker with one of the major insurance carriers, and you just start doing all insurance, offering life, home, the whole 9 yards?
I have an idea for a whole new kind of insurance, voluntary unemployment insurance.
That's a great idea, okay, theoretically. But I would not ever recommend you launch a business like that without sitting down with successful insurance people and vetting that idea. So that's a good example of my answer fits nicely over top of that particular idea.
Okay.
Make sense?
That works.
Yeah, I gave you the game plan. Listen, I just want to encourage you. There are some businesses I don't think you need a lot of experience to start, but you're always going to need a lot of information and a lot of eyeballs on your thoughts and ideas. So go do that, and don't be in a hurry, because that's the big mistake that most entrepreneurs make, is they're so passionate and so excited about this venture, and it's like, wee, and it's just like, you would never haphazardly, randomly, quickly try to climb a serious mountain. You just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I think this is the same approach. So thanks for the call. 844-747-2577. Up next in Jefferson City, Missouri is Susan. Susan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. I was looking for some guidance on starting a new business. I'm going to retire at the end of December, and I have done some planning. I had intended to start a new business in August, and I postponed it to maybe January. With the whole COVID thing, I'm just leery.
Gotcha.
And because I want to start a new business where I might offer a business to my state government peers, where they travel around the state, where they're able to utilize a centralized website that meets all the state travel guidelines and rates, and that where we can work with small businesses around the state. And I don't know.
Is this okay? I understand. Well, tell me more. Act like I'm completely clueless on this, because I think I might be. Is this like a specialized travel agency?
Well, what I'd like to do is create new business opportunities for small businesses around the state through person-to-person and through website interactions, and I could advocate for small businesses. I'm going back to different state agencies where I've worked for 26 years and encourage them to travel and stay in those small places, as opposed, like when I used to travel, instead of traveling, I would like to travel to the small town as opposed to the larger town that might be 30 minutes away to spend the night, that would be like 3 hours away. And I think right now, when I would look on a lot of these different businesses aren't in a centralized website, and they don't advertise on
Got it.
TripAdvisor and places like that. And I want to put it in one easy-to-find location.
Okay.
And last January, I went through our local county small business development council course and did some work. And so I've done some prep work. There's, prior to COVID, there was a market for this.
Yeah.
But as a current state employee, I haven't traveled since March.
Exactly. Well, so here's the thing on this. So yes, this is a hold pattern, but I think you could still effectively launch it, get it ready to go, and have it sitting there ready to rock, and keep adding people to it. So you could launch the site or the app right now, and you don't have to publicize it, or you could publicize it and say, hey, we exist, we're here. As long as you aren't relying on that to pay your bills right now, there's nothing stopping you from truly launching it and continuing to iterate and add to it, so that when state travel for state officials begins to ramp back up again, you're already up and running. So I think I wouldn't overthink it. This can't be your primary source of income, obviously, right now. But if it's not, which it doesn't sound like it is, I wouldn't wait to launch it. I would not wait at all. By the way, what's the money angle? How do you make money? Who's paying you? Is it these restaurants and smaller hotel owners, or is it the state employees?
Yes. Okay.
Yes to both, or yes to the first one?
Yes to the first.
Yeah.
Yes to the small businesses.
Yeah, because I think this thing could eventually evolve too, to not just be a service because you only have so many state employees traveling. So you might eventually want to open that up to tourism as well. But yeah, I like the idea. Right. I think you test it. You're not relying on this to pay the bills right now. I would launch it. I would get the site up. I'd get the app up. I'd start populating it, testing it, looking for bugs and kinks. You don't have to tell anybody about it, but go ahead and launch it. I think it's a great idea, actually. And I'd do it. 844-747-2577. Coming up, how Halloween is an everyday holiday for so many people and what you can do about that. But first, let's go to the chat room. Eric writes in, Ken, how do I stay motivated to work a job that is not my passion but pays me well and is helping me tackle my debt? Well, the word motivated in your question is where we look for your answer. What's your motive? What's your biggest motive right now? Paying off debt. You want to tackle that debt. You've got some, hopefully some gazelle intensity, as Dave Ramsey likes to say here at Ramsey Solutions, and our money folks here, my colleagues. They're telling you to get after that debt snowball and give everything you got. Every nickel you got, and the quicker you get out of debt, the quicker we get focused on the dream job. So your motivation is, I am grateful that this job that is not my passion pays me well and is going to allow me to get out of debt and to be able to live like no one else, so that I can then eventually make the path towards working like no one else. So your motive is right now, singular motive, get out of debt so that I can go after the dream. Think about how much fun you're going to have when you have no debt and you have savings and retirement, and you can get after the dream job and put more money towards chasing the dream and get there faster than other people who are strapped by debt. So your motivation is, in fact, right now, getting out of debt. The dream is still there, and you'll actually be able to get there faster by taking the time to focus on the debt first. So there's your motive. You ought to be very motivated. Woohoo! So excited. I'm not passionate about the work. Doesn't matter, because this is temporary, and so is my debt. That's the mindset. Adam writes in, what do I do when my job title doesn't match what I actually do? What do I do when my job title doesn't match what I actually do? Well, then talk to your leader about that. But before you go in there, you need to do most of the work. The leaders, the last thing they're thinking about is your title and matching the work. I mean, just honestly, they want wins. So before you go to your leader and you ask, hey, can we change my job title to match what I actually do? Why don't you do your own work and write 2 or 3, 4 sentences, short paragraph that details and lists out the majority of your day, every day, and the not just the responsibilities, but the influence, where that impact is happening, how you achieve the impact. Just do a quick little, again, 2 to 3, 4 sentences max, and then come to that leader, your leader, with maybe a couple of titles, working titles for them to approve. Say, hey, what do you think? I just like to do this because I think it's more apropos. But don't spend too much time on it. Don't get too hung up on it. Titles are, they're overrated, big time. They're overrated. It's like I used to hear Joe. There's a young story of a young man who, this is back in the day, Joe, when you and I, there was a time in the 80s, 70s and 80s where you would drive up to a gas station. Nathan and Madison have no idea what I'm about to say. They have no idea. We would drive up to a gas station and you'd have a guy walk out and he'd fill your car up for you. Full service. They would say it right there on the gas station marquee, full service. Well, you'd roll in, guy walks out. Hey, how you doing, Joe? What can I do for you? Yeah, fill her up with the unleaded, please. And you'd sit there
checking the oil for me.
Yeah, that's
They'd
right.
do it.
They would. And so that is long gone, never to come back again. But nonetheless, and so if you were in that job, Joe, and what would your title be? I'm gonna have some fun with this with you. What would be your so that's on your resume so let's say for 6-7 months or a year you worked as a full-time gas station attendant. What spiffy title would you put on your resume? I've got one that I think I'm pretty proud of.
Automobile customer service representative.
Wow, that is a mouthful, Joe. Very impressive.
Technical.
I would put in there petroleum distributor.
Very nice.
Thank you. You like that? Yeah. It's kind of pithy. It's quick. But here's the point. If you put that on your resume and somebody goes, petroleum distributor, what does that mean? You got to go, well, I was full service guy. I pumped gas for people. So you can, with a title sometimes, create more awkwardness, create more unnecessary tension. You're right. Because people don't care about titles. Here's what they care about. They care about whether or not you can help them win. Joe, you had something you were going to add?
No, that's good.
Oh, you okay? Very good. And Nathan, have you ever heard of full service gas stations?
I saw it portrayed in movies and stuff like that, but
yeah, you've seen them in old movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I think Steve Martin was one of those guys in The Jerk.
Well, and it used to be Texaco. Remember the Texaco Star?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you could come in. And
Yeah. I love taking people back to the Wayback Machine because we know we've got a lot of people Madison's age watching, you young 20s. You have no idea what full service is.
You know, there was a gas station in town that they had during COVID. They were filling people's tanks up, and I pulled up and was very confused.
Right. Okay. So in COVID times, I'm sure that happened all over the country.
Yeah, because they didn't want you touching it, which makes sense.
Which makes a lot of sense. Very, very safe. But you were like, what in the world is happening?
Yeah, this was like brand new in March, and I roll up, and I'm leaving the studio, need gas.
Yeah, versus me. If I'd have rolled up and seen that, I'd have been like, yes!
I thought I had done something wrong
while I'm waiting.
They come running out to my car. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, I would have immediately been looking in the dashboard. Is the 8-track player back in here? Is that all kind of... Because that's... By the way, you didn't have cell phones back then.
No way.
So you just sitting there staring out the window.
Yeah, how did they know? They just saw you pull up and they just ran out?
Well, yeah, that's what you pulled up to the pump just like you do now.
They used to have the little ding ding. You know, you
Oh yeah, you would drive over a cord and it would go
ding.
Yeah, and so the guy would know, it's time to go out there and fill Joe up a little bit. So there you go. Isn't that great? Oh, memory lane. Here we go. Fun stuff. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. All right, I got to teach on this, and then we'll get back to the phones. So I'm looking out the studio here, and the giant screen in the Ramsey Solutions office. I don't know if Nathan, are you going to try to show them that? Can you actually see that? You're so good. Can they see that? Look, he's zooming in. So that's my point of view right now. And so that's the lobby area of Ramsey Solutions. And today we are celebrating Halloween just as a company. We kind of have our fun with it. Okay, so bottom line is I see that and I go, I got to teach on this today because Halloween is a festive thing. Obviously, it's very different this year with COVID. And so I don't know what people are doing around the country. I don't even know what my own kids are doing. So I don't even know if they're going out. Probably not. But here's the deal. It's been a fun thing for many decades where people dress up and you walk around or you go to these adult parties, where adults, it's a masquerade party or it's a, Halloween party and everybody loves to dress up and it's a lot of fun. But the concept for me, it hit me in a different way a couple of years ago when I started thinking about how we all put on masks or we dress up and we for a night, we pretend to be somebody else. And it hit me that this is not an abnormal exercise for a lot of people. Now, they're not going to wear a costume every day, a physical costume, but there is an artificial, fake image that we put out, or we are pursuing something and we're trying to be somebody else because we look up to that kind of a person, or we have been pressured unintentionally by parents or teachers, friends, to be something that we're not. And so we're projecting this image of somebody it's not who we really are. So we are effectively, stay with me, walking around with a mask on every day. Maybe because we just simply don't know who we really are, which is what we talk about on this program. Remember, the purpose in your work and life, that's the ultimate target that we're steering you towards. But before you can get there, you have to truly know who you are. So I started off the show going, this is a conversation about who you are. You first must be completely self-aware of who you are, what you do best, the work you love to do, results that matter to you. If not, you are essentially by default walking around with a mask on. You don't even know who you are. How in the world can anybody else know who you are? And so we walk around and we portray this image. Well, I'm this and this is why I do this and blah, 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 blah. And it's not real. It's not who we are. There's nothing authentic about it at all. And so if you think about it for a moment, it is the equivalent of someone, an adult or a kid, wearing the same costume that they wore on Halloween night every day of the year. And you would look at that person and you go, something's seriously wrong with that person. It's not normal. And I would submit to you that if you are walking around every day at work or even in your relationship life and you are trying to be something that you are not, it is as though you are wearing a Halloween mask costume every day of your life. Nobody sees or experiences the real you because you're afraid. You've got doubt. You've got pride. Whatever the situation is, you are not putting the real you out there in the world. You're wearing a mask. And I'm telling you, Halloween is one day a year. That's the only day you need to be wearing a mask. A Halloween mask. You can't say that anymore. I just realized. Don't anybody misinterpret what I just said. I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about a Halloween fun mask. I'm going to get hate mail on that one. No, I'm saying the only time you're wearing a silly Halloween costume, say it that way. How's that, Joe? That one's a little bit more 2020. Is Halloween. Take the costume off. Stop walking around trying to be something that you are not. Stop walking around trying to be who you are not created to be. Be you. Be the best version of you. Take the costume off and make the contribution that you were created to make. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Let's go back to the phones. Matt is on the line in Louisville, Kentucky. Matt, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, here we go.
Yes,
I had a hard start to my career after college during the 2008 recession.
Okay.
I grew up entrepreneurial, but have taken below market value federal government and corporate safe jobs. My field, including a master's in computer science and cybersecurity, but I don't enjoy these technical roles. How do I find a job I love? I got into it 10 years ago because of opportunity. I've been told my key talents are networking, relationship building, and working well under crisis. I really enjoy outdoor projects, mechanics, restoration, jack of all trades type farmer skills. And I feel all over the map. I don't know how to provide for my family of 5 and love what I do.
Yeah, wow. Okay, you just hit me with a lot of stuff. I tried to write it down. Let's go back to the top talents.
Sure.
One was connecting, because I don't believe in networking. So, because networking is a gross, you know how gross that is, but you're a real connector. You're a natural connector with people. Never met a stranger. Is that what you mean by that?
Right. I can
Right.
no better the background. I tend to connect.
Awesome. And so tell me what else you told me for the top talents.
So relationship building, and then just working well under crisis, kind of enacting a plan and just taking charge. But if it's like drawn out or something, a year, 2-year plan, I really feel blocked.
So you're calm. So you're calm and steady, but you're very good at execution as well, getting stuff done.
Yeah, I really struggle with long projects.
Yeah, I get that.
Like tasks.
Yeah, you need variety.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you say for the work that you love to do?
Oh, I really like getting my hands dirty and just doing projects. And like, I have a 1910 house that keeps me plenty busy on that, more than I can do. But I enjoy that stuff. I really don't enjoy sitting behind a computer.
No, I get it.
For 3 years.
So you know what you didn't say that I'm curious about under talent. But I think you mean it when you said, when I'm using the word execution, the talent of execution, just getting stuff done. But when it comes, there's really 4 categories that talent, passion, and mission fall in. Okay. They are people. They are ideas, processes, okay, and things. So it really comes down to, are you good with people? The answer is yes. So you are talented with people and you like engaging and working with people. But yes. I'd say, yep, that's a check mark. I don't think that you love working with ideas, and I don't think that you're necessarily an idea guy per se. I think you're slightly creative. I would say that that's probably your 3rd area of focus. But I think things is the other major area, because you're good at working with things. You're good with your hands. You're good at problem solving when it comes to things. And you really enjoy fixing, creating things. Is that on par? Am I on the target?
Kind of, yes. Tangible things, 1s and 0s, I've really struggled to find passion behind.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like whether it be doing trim in a room, making cabinets, fixing an engine, that's what I mean by things. Is that right?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm slower than others in actual completion time.
Okay.
Of things, so that's where I struggle there.
Okay, but that's the work you love, though.
I really enjoy doing it. Yes.
Yeah, and you've got some raw talent that if you did it more and maybe got some training in those areas, do you think you could be very proficient?
Yes.
Okay, and so let's look at mission. So you think about the work that you'd love to do. What are the results of that work? It's not just because you love when you putz around in your house, that 1910 house, that work that you're doing in restoration or fixing something, you love that work. But what's the result when you step back and look at that and you go, this is the result that matters to me. I get great joy out of creating this result. What is it?
It's something different every time. So learning a new skill is really my satisfaction. My work is often not the best.
Yeah. So you're about learning a new skill, but what's the end result of the skill though that you really enjoy?
Just adding value.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's a form of I'm making this better.
Right.
I think for you it's that restoration.
There's minimalism there too.
Yeah.
Of preserving.
Yeah. All right. So here's the deal, man. I have walked you through some stuff. I've been prepping you for the last few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to tell me, and Matt, I want you to shut down your brain when it tries to tell you a doubtful thought. I want you to shut down your brain when it tries to tell you a fearful thought, and I want you to hear what I'm saying. If you knew you could not fail, I guaranteed you success. But you also didn't have to commit to it for 30 years. It was just this great, grand, new professional venture. You knew you couldn't fail. Knew you didn't even have to commit to it for a long time, but it was going to be a guaranteed success. What would you do tomorrow? Describe what you would do, because I think you know. Say it.
I'd probably sell tractors and tractor equipment. Agriculture equipment.
My goodness. Now that's a little bit of a surprise for me based on what we outlined, but now I'm looking I'm looking at the list. That's that connecting, adding value piece. As a salesman, you want to sell something that you believe in that really makes a difference. You know this product, there's a connection to it. Am I right?
Yes, and that's where I took kind of the computer science stuff, is maybe I could be a sales engineer or something, and leverage all my credentials and then go into sales in that way.
Well,
but I don't know.
Well, you do know. What would you, because you just told me what the answer was. You want to sell agricultural equipment, so go do that. And here's the good news, is that anybody can sell something. Anybody. Sales is a very specific skill that can be learned if you've got the raw talent, and you have it. You're very good at connecting. You said you can connect and communicate with anybody, any background. You're very calm. You're level-headed. And so a cranky customer or something going wrong with something, that's not going to faze you. You're going to come in and solve the problem. You're going to work with your customer service team to fix whatever happened so that the person you sold that equipment to is taken care of. That's your juice. You love it. And then the sales role also gives you the variety that you need. You're not behind a desk. You're solution based. That's what you love. So I would tell you this. You need to look into and follow your heart on the just discovery, a little bit more discovery on the answer you gave me. However, everything I just described in breaking down what you said your dream gig is, that will also be applicable as a technology sales guy. Same kind of deal. So I think you could be very happy in both of those roles. And with the masters in cybersecurity and the other end, boy, you're highly qualified. So I would look into that just as well. Because I think what you are looking for beyond the talent, passion, mission, I think you're driven by variety too. A little bit of, you need to be moving. Need to be moving into something new. So I like where you're headed. What do you think?
I like it.
All right, listen. So we just walked through Get Clear, which is stage 1 of my 7 stages to meaningful work. Stage 2 is Get Qualified. So you need to look into what are the basic qualifications needed. And I don't think you need a ton of sales experience, but if you need some, then start doing that on the side if you have to. or get some sales training or whatever. But I would look into, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? How much is it going to cost me? How long will that take? Those are the 4 questions you've got to ask. And then you start getting connected, which is stage 3. And you start getting around people that sell. That this is the proximity principle. It says, in order to do what Matt wants to do, he's got to be around people that are doing it and in places where it is happening. So both of those fields, the agricultural equipment, the technology space, get around those people, get in those places. And my book, The Proximity Principle, if you don't have it, Madison, let's give him a copy of it. Because I wrote it for people who know what they want to do, but don't know how to get there. And the proximity principle is the plan. And I walk you through how to do it, point you right to the people and places, and it's working like crazy. By the way, people are like, Ken, what about the book that helps us figure out, get clear? I'm writing it right now. And I'm very excited about it. So stay tuned. All right, stay tuned. But anyway, that's a great resource, Matt. Thank you so much for the call. Well, my time is almost up. But before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.